All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Ashlyn. I'm from the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here today with one of our lovely members, Valerie Raver. And she is here today for her member spotlight. We're going to be chatting with her about who she is, what she does. And Valerie, would you like to just introduce yourself and let everyone know a little bit about what it is that you do?
Yes, thank you, Ashlyn. I appreciate you having me. I'm a
Absolutely.
functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. And what that is that I am a lab-based functional health coach. So, unlike some health coaches that are limited to just assisting and modifying nutrition or diet, I can look at the numbers from labs. We test, we don't guess. And I can look at that and put together a very customized individual protocol that is all natural and drug free. So I utilize the Dress for Health Success program, which Dress is an acronym for the areas in which I help people modify. Dress stands for diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and supplementation. It is drug free, but I do use practitioner grade supplements.
Awesome. That is really cool. So happy to have you here and chat with you a little bit today. So for the people, people that you look for that you know that you can help out with this, who are the kinds of people that can benefit from what you do?
So that's a good question because honestly, I can help everyone. I can help someone who's just looking to optimize their health, but more often than not, I'm helping the people that are sick and tired of being sick and tired, that have kind of fallen through the gaps with the medical model of care. I'm often seeing people who are struggling with stubborn weight loss or chronic fatigue or food sensitivities, sleep issues, metabolic issues, autoimmune, really just about anything, especially those that have gone to the doctor and they've gone through the tests and they've either been told it's in their head or they're simply not um, testing sick enough to be diagnosed a particular condition, but they know that something isn't right.
Gotcha, gotcha. And then what kind of, you know, what can someone expect if they work with you? What can someone expect to get as a result or how they'll feel? How do you go from point A to point B?
So, first of all, I'd like to say what can someone expect? I
Mhm.
understand that working with a health coach is rather unique concept for a lot of people. And so for that reason, I offer a 1 hour free consultation to anyone who's just interested in knowing more. There's no obligation to work with me, but I like to have a more one-on-one opportunity to explain what it would be like if they hired me. Because I will be walking alongside them as they self-treat. I will be teaching you, there's the saying that you give a man a fish, he eats for a day, and you teach a man to fish and he eats for a lifetime. I like to think that I'm kind of doing both. I'm giving you some immediate relief care and I can help with that, but in the process I'm educating and training people to really how to listen to their bodies, often for the first time, so that they're learning how to fish while they're getting that fish. They're getting nourished and they're learning how to go through a lifelong successful health journey. And so what can they expect? They can expect true and genuine healing. I'm not interested in diagnosing. I'm not
Mhm.
interested in masking symptoms. I'm looking at root causes and trying to identify the underlying reasons for their symptoms. And the goal is to find the healing opportunities so that when addressed, symptoms go away naturally and we restore balance and function. And so that is true health and wellness.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really interested in helping, people become healing them and helping them learn how to maintain that for a long time, for the rest of their lives. Am I correct in that? Is
It's
that
not just about feeling
Yeah.
better and getting past some symptoms and calling that success and health. It's really addressing what the root cause. I like how there's often an example of an iceberg. The tip above the water is what you see. That can be the symptoms that we experience, right? Or even lab results that you might see. But often there's so much more that's underneath that is hidden, right? And so we try to identify the hidden stressors on the body, remove those, limit them, minimize them, reduce them as much as possible, and just let the body heal itself. So I work with my clients to help their bodies heal itself.
Awesome. That sounds really great. And so I'm curious, how did you find yourself in this role? You know, how did you get into this pathway, this business?
That's kind of funny because for many years I was a stay-at-home homeschool mom,
Mhm.
and pretty natural granola. We grew food. We I learned more about herbs. I was a certified nursery professional for a while, um, but I have 6 children, and in the process of just being mom, I was always looking for more and more natural ways to address and attend to my children. So I tell
Mhm.
people I've been a closet FDN for 20 years, and only recently with the certification do I have access to the labs. And so I'm adding that to decades of life hacks and experience with all the things, right? It's not just one thing. And that's something I really like to make sure that people realize is that there isn't just one pill or one diet or one way to do something. It's all the layers. And then when taken together, that's what's really going to support your body, right? So I'll use all the tools I have, if it's herbs or homeopathics or infrared or IVs. I might recommend massage, acupuncture. It's all of the things that are going to help your body naturally heal.
Got it, got it. So there's sounds like there's a lot of different things you can do to help people heal. Not only that you can do, but almost that it's important to have a wide range of sort of treatments, I guess, in order to heal.
There's a lot, and
Mhm.
there's a growing amount of things. There's, as people, there's advancement in technology in all areas, and there's certainly in the last few years been an advancement in the technology of natural remedies and modalities and therapies that can be enlisted for people's health.
Yeah, for sure. And so I really am intrigued by the fact, that you say that you do labs with people as well. And so you're really basing your kind of protocols on, facts about people's health and about their body. And I think that that's really great. And so can you tell me a little bit more about those that, the kind of labs people do and what you can learn about them through those things?
I'm so glad you asked because I really like the opportunity to say that because I have access to the labs, I'm not necessarily utilizing them in the same way as an allopathic trained Western doctor
Mhm.
would. For example, they might be using just one lab company's lab menu, right? And all the different forms of labs from them. And I get that. As if I ran like a business, it would just streamline and make it easier. As an FDN, I have a menu of cherry picked cutting edge functional labs that may not necessarily be with the same lab company because this one has the best hormone panel and these guys have a really great GI map and so on. But in that, I'm looking also at what we know to be an optimal functioning range and not just the lab range that comes from the lab. So that's how someone can go to a doctor and the doctor's like, well, you're within range, you're fine.
Mhm.
But I'm
Mhm.
looking at a smaller bell curve of what we know the people that have taken this lab who are the healthiest, where do they fall? And that may not be where, my clients are. So I'm looking at it a little differently. I'm using some different labs. I'm not using labs for the purpose of diagnosing. I'm using them to find healing opportunities. But
Mhm.
even in that, I'm not treating the test, as they say. I'm using that as part and one of the stars in the constellation. And the more stars I have, the clearer the picture. So I'm using the labs as they correlate to what the client has shared with me, with what the other labs are also correlating, and with what is in their medical history and the intake. And I'm taking it all into consideration.
Got it, got it, okay, and that's really interesting, and wow, learn things I never even knew when you're talking about, how people may fall in what's an okay range at a traditional Western medicine practice, but you are able to look a little bit closer and deeper because of what you do, which is really amazing. Um
And there may be the need to retest, right? So if they test positive for a parasite or, certain, say, leaky gut, then as we work together at a certain point, we're going to want to retest to see where they're in that healing process. So we can tweak or adjust what we're doing.
Absolutely, and it looks like, we got a comment on LinkedIn. Timothy Cella, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name correctly. He would like to know where you're located.
So I didn't mention I'm located in San
Mhm.
Antonio, but the fantastic thing and one of the reasons I love, love, love FDN is that my clients are not limited by geographical location. My clients can be anywhere in the world. More often than not, the lab kits are drop shipped directly to my clients, and most of which they can just do at home, with an exception of, say, like the food sensitivities test, they might need to get a blood draw. If you were local, I could certainly help you with get that in my office or locate a blood draw locator. Um, but as long as you are able to receive the lab kits, we can telehealth and meet online. Generally, there's a package that is 5 foundational labs, and it's a 3 month one-on-one coaching with me. But I have several packages, and that's why I like to talk to people with the consultation that I mentioned earlier, that 1 hour free consultation, um, that we can go over the details of how I can help them, what they can expect, and the various packages that I offer.
Awesome, great. So you can basically treat people, like, nationwide throughout the US, is that accurate?
Internationally.
Oh, internationally, awesome, even better. That's awesome. Okay, great, well, thank you for letting us know that. Is there anything we haven't touched on yet about, what you do that, you would like people to know? Anything that we haven't touched on that's coming up as something that maybe you wanna share?
I think, what's really big on my heart, especially coming out of the last couple of years,
Mhm.
is that I really like to emphasize to people that you are your primary care practitioner. No one knows your body better than you. And you have the ability to enlist who you choose to work with, whether it's me or a doctor or both, right? Because what I do can complement you working with your primary care practitioner, or for some people, it's an option instead of. It's however you decide that you want it to be. So I feel like a lot of what I do is really educating people about what the options are. But before even that is just knowing you have a lot of options and it's your choice.
Got it, okay, great. So it sounds like you're really empowering people to kinda take control of their own health.
To empower them to take control of their own health, to walk alongside them to true and genuine healing for the purpose of living out their life's purpose.
Wonderful. That really sounds amazing. And if someone does, decide to work with you, how long can they expect that sort of journey to be? I'm sure it varies, but do you find that there's a certain amount of time that you work with people for before, they're able to kind of go off on their own, or how do you see that working with you?
Yeah, it does vary depending
Mhm.
on the conditions and situations that they come in with. Some people have been dealing with decades of issues, and some people aren't even realize the depth of healing and the degree of healing that is needed, like to just what's the pill or procedure. But there's so much more to that iceberg that's under the water that I'm even just kind of revealing and showing with the lab results, with what I know about how the body's functioning and how it all correlates together. And there's often just this cascade effect that if you've just been kicking the can down the road all these years with this medication or this diet, then there's a lot more to unravel. That being said, um, it doesn't have to take long to feel better, to start feeling better. So even if you're not completely healed and restored, you can have that energy back. You can sleep all the way through the night. You can have that normal digestive process. So we can bring back a lot of things online and start feeling more normal, even before that full healing process is complete.
Got it, got it. That makes a lot of sense, and it also kinda sounds like, how you work with people is setting them up for a lifetime of, feeling good and how to maintain that. Does that resonate with
Absolutely.
you?
That's in the mission statement of
Mhm.
FDN is that,
Oh,
our goal is to set you up for this lifetime success, but also when you start feeling better, what are you going to do? You're going to want to share it with everybody you know. And then with the things that you learned, you're going to share with your kids or your mom or your family or friends. And so then that knowledge base just grows. So when I'm helping someone, the goal is really for that ripple effect.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing. That's
It's
awesome.
beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds really, really beautiful and impactful. So I'm so glad I got to talk with you and learn more about it. Is there a place where people can best reach out to you if they're interested in learning more? Like you said, you offer, that free consultation, I believe. And so if someone is interested in chatting with you more, learning more, how can they best, reach out to you?
Ashlyn, the best place people can reach me is through my website. That would be www.valeriefdnp.com. That stands for Functional Diagnostic Nutrition Practitioner. So fdnp.com. From there, they can schedule a consultation through my scheduling app, and we can either meet on the phone, in person if you're local, or via Zoom.
Got it. Okay, great. Well, it was so amazing talking with you today. Is there anything else you want to mention quickly before we wrap up the live stream?
I think we covered a lot of ground, but I really would like people to know that if there's something that doesn't feel right about the path that you're on now, explore what your options are and just know that working with a health coach is an option that you might not have considered before.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Valerie. And thank you to anyone who tuned in and is watching this live or finds it in the future. It's been a wonderful conversation, Valerie. I'm so happy we got to talk this morning.
Thank you so much, Ashlyn. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks. Bye, everyone.